Okay, so I've been getting a lot of feedback on the YouTube channels, like like can you please explain this further as far as the ballistic striking? And it's like I realize that when you look at the videos, all you see is the fist impact with people, and you don't really understand what's going on. So we kind of have to break it down from a biomechanical standpoint, then go into the muscle relaxation and show how it impacts and what it does to the body. So. All right, now the typical, fighter, extremely tense as his arm stretches out, his whole body's tight. All the muscles in his body, everything from his back to his legs, everywhere, starts acting like rubber bands and holding it back. So on the impact, he can hit you hard, but it doesn't really have the same thump that a ballistic strike has. You'll see relaxed fighters, some of the old boxers, they just throw it out there and they're barely touching the guys and knocks them out. It's because they're more relaxed. They've been doing it for years. They learn how to just move efficiently instead of using muscle like the younger fighters do. All right, so that's the way that the muscles hold you back. So basically, you have to learn how to throw the weight of your arm. But doing so in a ballistic manner, it changes the distance that you need in order to strike somebody. Where out here, we might be comfortable throwing a punch from out here. If it reaches the end of your chain, what I call end of the chain, it actually creates tension in the back and you lose a lot of your power. Or what we call power is not really power, it's more that thud. All right. So in order to be able to strike effectively with ballistic striking, you literally have to shorten up your target by about 6 inches. So if I want to strike here, I have to be able to make sure that I can still have some follow through wherever I'm striking, so that all the force from the weight of the arm actually impacts with them. All right, so instead of learning how to fight out here, now you have to basically lead them into you. Like if he takes a punch, okay, I have to wait for him to come to me sometimes, or I might have to float into him to be able to get it to work right. All right, so there is a difference in the dynamics of the way that ballistic striking is compared to the way that other traditional or non-traditional striking systems use. There's a lot of other systems that, we're going to use whips, and whips are an effective way of doing things. And they always tell you relax more, and it's all along the same theory, especially when you start talking about doing drop punches or drop fists. Okay? Well, all right. So now you have to look at structure. All right, structure is very, very important with the striking. In a lot of the Systema videos, you can't see what's going on with the way that the hand is placed, or you don't pay attention to it. We have a lot of drills where you put your hand on a person and you're not supposed to have any gap at all on your fist. It's not like karate or any of the other ones where you hit with the 2 knuckles or you do a lot of focus on there. So I don't want my hand to slip off. If my hand comes across and hits here and there's a gap, there's a chance it's going to slip. So what I want to be able to do is I need to be able to place my hand anywhere on his body, and if there's a gap appearing, I basically have to rotate my arm until the gap disappears so that all the energy transfers directly into it. Okay? Learning how to use relaxation and gravity. Basically, the rule of thumb is if it's going downwards, relax and let the gravity do the work, okay, instead of trying to just plow through it. Same thing with using these kind of strikes or going down. And whenever you're talking about actually throwing the weight, now instead of using your large muscle groups, you have to maintain relaxation and you fire your twitch muscles. Now this is just my opinion from what I've observed, but it's what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to throw the punch and relax right before impact and let everything just relax. Boom. So that all the weight can naturally transfer into it from the arm. To increase the impact, a lot of times you increase the speed. Right? When you're talking about using the velocity method, because like systemic striking can also go into, I want to push here to get a different effect, I can do this, but just for the basics idea of the nice weighted heavy strike, you want to be able to relax into it, but you have to throw it and then relax it in midair. And the best way that I found to do it, and a lot of other people found to do it, is basically to twitch into them and then relax right before impact and allow it to cruise. You'll see a lot of videos where somebody will strike somebody and they might hit, and then you'll see their elbow cock upwards, like boom, and then you see the arm fall. And that's where it's gotten relaxed. And that's a drill I'll do sometimes by myself. We don't normally use bags because a bag doesn't have the same feedback that a human body does. Humans are like, you know, ballistics gel, where dummies and bags are just hard padded substances that just, it doesn't give the same way. It doesn't allow the shock waves to penetrate the way that it does in a human being. So it's not really a good idea to use a lot of focus on striking dummies or to strike bags, but you know, one of the guys on the YouTube comments was saying, you know, can you show me this stuff on a bag? And I was like, okay. I will take and I will practice not throwing it hard, relaxing, you know, allowing everything from my hips, everything in my body to just relax on impact. Okay, it's a simple, some people consider it a stupid drill. Yes, it's coming around, but you can also learn how to do it from straightforward, just learning how to relax on impact. And then as you learn how to relax it and continue moving, you might want to start striking harder. And you see where the actual elbow starts to kick up, okay, as I'm relaxing on impact. And it's just a training drill, that's all it is. Now, like I said, the reason why we don't use bags compared to human beings is because, and there's another reason behind it, is the force feedback. Whenever you strike a bag, you know, from whatever training that you've had, a lot of times we strike the bag and we push just as hard as we can during that strike to try and generate what we perceive as force. Well, a bag doesn't move the way a human does. It doesn't give, it doesn't have that wave effect into it. So we take what we learned from the bags and we try and apply it to human beings, and we can hit heavy, you know, we have more muscle, more weight and everything, but it doesn't have that ballistic strike effect like people are looking for. All right, so when I'm dealing with a human, I want to be able to strike, I want to be able to relax, and I just want to let it go into them. Boom, right? And the first probably 100 times you actually do it right, it's not going to give you a sensation of force. You hit a bag, you know you hit it, you're like, yeah, I hit it hard. You relax and strike one a guy like this and relax. What you're going to see is you're going to be like, oh damn, you know, that strike sucked. And he's going to be over on the ground going, oh, you know, absolutely hurting. And you're going, what happened? Why did that work? You know, why is he hurting and I didn't feel like I did anything? Or it might even feel like his body slipped away from him. And it's what it is we have to rewire our brain to go from thinking of force feedback as a sign of power to learning how to just let the weight do the work for us. All right, so I'm going to strike him. I'm going to start striking him, and like a long time ago when I started striking people, I struck them hard. And my instructor down in Charlotte, he started showing me various things about how to keep loose, how to, you know, start paying attention to relaxation in your whole body and not just up top. And so you want to be able to strike, and I want to get an effect without really throwing a lot of force. And this is how you start what I call chasing the rabbit. At first it's difficult to grasp the concept, but after you do it a few times you start narrowing in on it, and then after a while you just start getting it. All right, so I'm going to strike him moderately, maybe 15%, and he's going to tell me what he feels. You've got skin, you've got the muscle underneath it, which is like level 2, or you know, that sheath under there, and then past that is the actual organ. So in the beginning, you know, you're only going to end up making this guy burn on the surface, and he's going to bruise up. After a while, you'll hit level 2, and you'll hit the muscles underneath, and he's going to be, he might say it spreads out. Okay, and that's where it's following the tension in the stomach. Later on, as you learn how to just relax and sink through that layer, you'll actually start hitting the internal organs and start causing strange effects in there. So from here to That's probably 15–20%. You get an effect? What'd you feel?
Going through, starting to go into my stomach.
Yeah. All right. So it's very important whenever you're learning how to do ballistic striking to actually have a partner who's going to tell you what he feels. Okay, I'm going to use less impact and try and just relax it and see if I can still get an impact. Now that felt absolutely completely weak, but yet at the same time you kind of jumped away a little bit too, right?
Here, I'll try that.
All right. I could feel it go, you know, and that means I was nice and relaxed.
That was deeper into my stomach. That
And
was
I
way
used
more.
less, I actually used less power on that one too. So that's how I started learning how to do heavier, deeper ballistic strikes without actually using more force, was to use less force and more relaxation. And of course he's had some time in training with us too. So you don't mind if I strike you a little bit deeper? All right. Because a lot of guys are like, oh yeah, you hit a little guy on video, you think you're bad. It's not about being bad, it's about, you know, training. And I'm not trying to, you know, hurt anybody at all. Sometimes when they reach a certain level, you know, we all get hit and it sucks no matter what. I hate taking strikes from guys who do Systema too. I mean, it does, but you just have to stay calm and everything. All right, you ready? Okay. And he's doing very, very well. Okay, that was maybe 20–25%. You okay?
Yeah, good.
And one more. And as you can see, he's squatting to make the blood flow better. He's breathing properly to recover about it, and he's done a pretty good job since he started training in this stuff. That's all I have to offer on what I know about ballistic striking up to this point. There's finer details and there's a lot of things I could add to it, but there's really no need to right now because this right here is enough to keep you busy for a long time.